Today you're going to be learning about the T and the E of tide. So let's look at what the T is, topic introduction. So topic introduction is green. In your topic introduction, you need to have the tag. So tag stands for the title, author, and gist, so what the text is about. So for example, the story, My Life with the Chimpanzees by Jane Goodall, discusses how Jane studied chimpanzees in her life. Okay, so title, author, gist. You also need to restate or recycle the prompt in your topic introduction, and you usually do that with your thesis statement. So your thesis statement is your claim or your central idea. So it tells your reader what to expect from the rest of your paper in one sentence. And that sentence is usually the last sentence of your first paragraph. Okay, so it's telling your reader, all right, the rest of my essay, the rest of my writing is going to be discussing this. So here are just a couple examples. Humans and animals might appear to be very different. However, they both share the ability to show joy, happiness, and fear. This is the thesis from the essay that we're reading, the exemplar. And another example, teaching is the most essential job to the population because teachers help students read and write. So in this thesis statement, we know that the rest of the essay is probably going to be about how teachers help students read and how teachers help students write. I just put this little image over here of what a thesis statement is. It's what you believe or what you intend to explain or prove. So for explanatory essays, it's going to be what we intend to explain. You must have a thesis that is strong and has reasons that follow. So I want to look at a couple examples of topic introductions. So I just made these ones up. So remember, a topic introduction needs to have the tag, title, author, gist, has to restate or recycle the prompt, and it also has to have the thesis. So I just put this up here so we can remember what should be in a topic introduction. So let's look at this first example. Zoology by Richard Hansen and Informing the Zoologist by Katie Rathford discusses how zoos across the globe are extremely beneficial to the animals that they house within their walls. Zoos are not just for humans to view the beauty of these animals up close. Zoos are crucial to animals because they provide safety for endangered animals, and scientists can easily perform research on different animals. All right, so we need to look for these things in this topic introduction. I see the title of both texts, Zoology and Informing the Zoologist. I see the author of both texts, Richard Hansen and Katie Rathford. And I see the gist of both texts. So both texts discuss how zoos across the globe are extremely beneficial to the animals that they house within their walls. Both texts do that. So I have the tag. Tag is good. Done. Check. Let me highlight that so I know that that's done. Restating the prompt usually happens with our thesis too. So let's look for our thesis. Where is that? It says, zoos are not just for humans to view the beauty of these animals up close. Zoos are crucial to animals because they provide safety for endangered animals, and scientists can easily perform research on different animals. So remember, our thesis is usually our last sentence of our first paragraph. So I'm just going to underline that. So this thesis statement shows us that the rest of this essay, or this person who's writing, they're going to be discussing how zoos are crucial because they provide safety for endangered animals, and scientists can perform research. So we might see a paragraph about safety for endangered animals and how scientists can do research on these animals in zoos. So these look like they're going to be the body paragraphs of our essay. So when we are highlighting our topic introduction, that's this whole thing right here, we're going to be highlighting the whole thing green. So that way we know when we're done writing our whole essay, we have our topic introduction. And as you can see, it's not just one sentence, it's multiple sentences, which include the tag, restating the prompt, and the thesis statement. So let's look at another example. The authors of Teaching Young Minds by Susan Garrett and Essential Jobs of U.S. Society by Sasha Katubi both share the view that elementary school teachers are essential to our growing society. Although other professions are important, it is crucial to have high-quality teachers educate our youth so they can fill those other professions. Teaching is the most essential job to the population because teachers help students read and write. Okay, so let's look for our tag. So in my first sentence, I see authors of Teaching Young Minds. So here's my title by Susan Garrett, author. Oh, but there's another text, Essential Jobs of U.S. Society. So there's another title, and there's my author, Sasha Katubi. So my tag, the title and the author there. Now I need to look for the gist. What are those texts about? Okay, they both share the view that elementary school teachers are essential to our growing society. That's what both of those texts are about. So now I know I have my titles, I have my authors, and I have the gist of what those texts are about. Now I want to look for my thesis, because the thesis is usually where the prompt has kind of been restated or recycled. And remember, your thesis is usually the last sentence of your topic introduction, your first paragraph. So I'm going to go to my last sentence, which is right here. It says, teaching is the most essential job to the population because teachers help students read and write. Okay, here's the thesis statement. This is telling me that the rest of my essay is going to be about how teachers help students read and how teachers help students write. So in my essay, I might have one paragraph about how teachers help students read and another body paragraph about how teachers help students write. So this is my thesis my thesis statement. Now I need to make sure I highlight my topic introduction green, the whole thing. So when you are looking for your topic introduction in the essay, the exemplar, you're going to be highlighting it green. Okay, so we talked a little bit about topic introduction. You're going to go find that in the exemplar. But I also want to talk about the ending. So the beginning and the ending. So let's go back over to our slides. The ending is where we wrap up our essay. This is red. This is the E in tide. This is where we wrap up our essay and we go back to the T. We can go back to the T and use some of these phrases, some of these words that we use in our topic introduction to kind of tell our reader, you know, this is what I wrote about. So we're wrapping up our essay and we're giving a closing sentence. So when we wrap up our essay, that's where we summarize the main points from our body paragraphs. It's where we use our final words, which we try to connect back to our thesis, our central idea of our writing, the whole point of why we're writing this. So let's look at a couple examples. Now, these endings that I'm going to show you relate to these two examples, as if for zoology, this would be the ending to that essay. So the first one for zoology says, in conclusion, I already have a transition. The authors of both texts share the idea that zoos are important for the animals they serve because they provide safety and a way for scientists to learn more about the animals. Where did I see that before? Oh, I saw it in my thesis. So I took my thesis from my topic introduction and I reworded it a little bit so that I could put it in my ending. So in conclusion, the authors of both texts share the idea that zoos are important for the animals they serve because they provide safety and a way for scientists to learn more about the animals. There's my thesis. I put it in my ending. If there were no zoos, who knows how many endangered animals would be extinct? Without zoos, scientists would have difficulty learning about the many beautiful exotic and domestic animals. Who knows what zoos will help us to learn in the future? So I wrap up my essay and I leave a closing sentence. And my closing sentence is relating back to my thesis. And I'm kind of posing the question, like, what's going to happen? We don't know what's going to happen. Zoos might help us learn so much more about animals. So it kind of leaves it open to the reader. So when we are highlighting our ending, we highlight our ending in red. But we always want to make sure we have those components. So we have, where is it? We're summarizing the main points from our body paragraphs or using part of our thesis, and we have a closing sentence. Okay? So we highlight our ending in red. The next example of ending I want to look at relates back to the authors, of teaching. Okay? So as if this were an essay, this would be the ending. Teachers all across the world do an important job. It is a job that requires many skills. Garrett and Kutubi, remember those are the authors, Garrett and Kutubi, both agree that the teaching occupation is the most crucial job because it is in school where children learn to read and write. That sounds familiar too. If I look back up at my topic introduction, that's from my thesis statement. I can see I used part of my thesis statement in my ending. Those skills are needed in every other occupation in the world. Without teachers teaching students these skills, we might not have successful architects, doctors, or engineers. It is the educators who are the most essential. So this last closing sentence relates back to my thesis that teaching is the most essential job. The educators who are the most essential. So my ending is going to be highlighted in red. Okay, so your job, now that you've looked at a couple examples of topic introductions and endings, your job is to go into your exemplar that I posted on, let me check, on 120. Go into your exemplar, and I want you to find the topic introduction and highlight it in green. I want you to find the ending and highlight it in red. I also want you to underline the tag in your topic introduction. Okay? If you need to come back to this video, you can.